Hello. So, we decided to do a little bit of a spin-off series from the usual YouTube, and we're going to call it Chats with Meg. Obviously, as a person on this earth, I've probably been an athlete for longer than I've been a normal human, so I wanted to give back on kind of thought processes, traits that I've learnt and that are instilled within me that I feel would be positive to give back to others that perhaps could learn how to put those into their day-to-day life to make their life as an athlete, or even just through work, any situation, to possibly be able to deal with things a little bit easier and a little bit better. I've been very fortunate to be around the people that I've been around, not so much just with bodybuilding, but prior to that in my previous sport as a diver, the coaches and other athletes that I were able to be around from the different opportunities that I was given within that, and also then being brought up by incredible parents that have also instilled great things within me. I think it would be good to be able to give back. So the first one that we're going to talk about today is controlling the controllables. We can speak about this on a bodybuilding sense, or we can speak about it on a life sense. It is pretty adaptable and interchangeable between everything, and you can definitely put this trait within any walk of life to be able to probably be a little bit more successful, be a little bit more productive with what you're trying to obviously achieve. So when it comes to controlling the controllables, obviously there's certain aspects of life that even though you aren't in control of them, you probably won't be able to do what I'm saying right now, and we'll go on to those. So when it comes to things in life that you cannot control what other people think. You cannot control what other people do. You cannot control in a bodybuilding environment what someone will bring to stage. You can't control what the judges think and who they are going to give the win to. The things that you are in control of are things like the amount of effort that you put into your prep, how much adherence you give to every single part of your journey. Same when it comes to things like work situations. You can't control what the results on a test are going to be. You can't control who's going to be given the promotion at any one time. Again, what you can control are the things and efforts that you put in to every single part of your working process to make sure that you could be successful then, or at least into the future. So the more you focus on and give your attention to the things that you cannot control, the more you pull away from the things that you can control, which will then probably lead to less success, less productivity, which in a roundabout way will lead to obviously a very negative downward spiral of everything, really. Because once one thing starts to go a little bit wrong and you start to put your energy into the things that you cannot control, it will start to become a consistent kind of negativity in your life that is what you will do. You have to kick the trend and you have to start focusing on the things that you can control. I like to kind of sit down and write down the things that are not quite so positive in my life, to be able to go about them in the sense of, okay, this is what's happening. What can I do to make it better? What can I do to control the situation in a more positive light, to be able to allow for the outcome to be a little bit greater? And that's one thing that I try to instill within my clients, because working with quite a lot of athletes, I do tend to find that if they allow for that thought process to happen within personal life, or they allow for that to happen in a working environment, it then starts to counteract and come into their bodybuilding environment, then obviously makes their kind of time in the gym or their time as a bodybuilder not the most positive. So focusing on the things that are able to be controlled and focusing on the things that you can actually put effort into and it lead to a positive outcome is something that has to be given the effort and attention to, rather than the things that obviously aren't quite as positive. Obviously in life there are certain situations that you cannot control, things like if someone like a family member are poorly, and obviously the traits of which I've just spoken about in trying to come away from that situation would not be the best thing. The kind of situation with that would be, obviously you're not able to control the outcome on what's happened and the kind of negative of somebody getting quite poorly. What you can control is the way in which you support that person, the way in which you give back to that person through being a positive beam of light. And that's the way in that situation you can be a little bit more level-headed when you go into a little bit of an emotional time in your life as well. So there is definitely an element of controlling the controllables even in that environment, but it's possibly one of the biggest things and best things that I learned when I was 8 years old, is learning how to control certain situations, kind of split out certain situations, so having a different process for life, work, etc., that just allows my life to feel less stressed, even if it's busy, overcrowded, however you want to call it, to make sure that obviously the process of bodybuilding, life and work can all work really well in synergy.